Eagles Nation, Eagles Universe, Eagles Galaxy. Last week did not turn out the way we wanted it to. But you know what? We're still the best team in the NFL. And I'm going to let somebody else tell you my feelings on this. Then I'm going to bring on my co-host, and we're going to get into this thing.
Or who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Thanks, Coach.
That's my thoughts. Summed up the best that they can be. There's a lot more things I could say, but I'm going to simply say this. We're going to do a lot of talking about that game and the things that didn't go well. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to go ahead and bring on the other three parts of this Fatal Four team. We're going to start with my guy, Wyatt. What's going on, Wyatt?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? Ready to talk some Eagles football as always. And we certainly got a lot to talk about this week.
We definitely do. And we're going to bring on Miss J Swoop.
What's going
making
on,
her
everybody?
triumphant return to the show.
I'm back. I missed you guys. Say hi to my parents. I know they're watching, and Brian and Alyssa. I'm ready to get into it.
And last but not least, of course, the diva herself.
Gang, gang, what's going on? What's happening? Hey, everybody
What's
that's
up?
watching. Appreciate you tuning in. I hope you had a happy holiday.
Definitely. So now that we're all here, before we get too deep into this, and before I forget this week, as has been done before, let's get it.
The kick is away, and the kick is it's gone! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
So, we are not going to deviate from our normal process, but I can say there will be a lot of time spent on the review of the Dallas Cowboys game. But we will start off, as we always do, with breaking news. So, Wyatt, man, what do you have for us in the breaking news department today?
Yes, sir. We're gonna talk about some good news before we get to all the bad news. So let's go with after this weekend here, the Eagles broke their franchise record for single season touchdowns with 55. So it's just yet another week, another record being broken with this franchise, someone in the franchise at least, and some more good news. We talked about a couple weeks prior. Devontae Smith finally hit 1,000 yards. So that's two receivers now with over 1,000 yards receiving for the Eagles. It's such a huge feat. We haven't seen anything like this as far as a dominant receiving core in quite some time. So it's very positive going into the future here.
Yeah, definitely.
So now we're going to get into the bad news. And the bad news is Lane Johnson has a torn tendon in his abdominal area, and he's going to be out at least for the rest of these next two games, at least until the postseason. Hopefully we can lock that in the first round bye up, clinch the division and the conference, give him some extra time to heal. Apparently it does need surgery to mend it, but he's postponing the surgery until the off season. Hopefully he can play in the playoffs here. He's going to give it a go. I mean, dude's just a warrior. So, I mean, I'm surprised he's going to be able to come back. And I mean, even a half health Lane Johnson is better than nothing,
Yes, sir. Definitely better than nothing. Does anyone have any thoughts on the breaking news and the and that injury update?
I mean, I'm glad Devontae has joined the club.
Smitty.
Hearts, that's my boy. Props. And was very sad about Lane Johnson, but Lane Johnson is definitely bleed green, die all day for the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, that's my dude. So get well soon, Lane. And next man up.
Yeah, I mean they're hoping to, and he's going to be rehabbing here, hopefully about almost a month until he plays again. Hopefully, so I mean rehab and then come game time, give him some Toradol or whatever they have, and try to give it a go. And hopefully he can do it, man, because we really need him out there, especially facing some of these teams we could be facing in the playoffs.
Yeah,
But then we got Avonte Maddox to worry about as well. He's out indefinitely with that toe injury. And it's been real quiet as far as Avonte Maddox for some reason. We haven't, other than just a significant toe injury, and he's out indefinitely, we don't really have any news on him. He's not on IR as of right now, but there has really been no updates regarding him at this point, which is odd.
I hate that. I hate that he got hurt as soon as he came back in because he was balling.
Yeah.
Like balling. He was the only one actually rushing the passer, which was Dak. And after that, we had no more rushing the passers.
Yeah, it sucks to see him having so much injury trouble this season.
All we know is toe, and that's it. Not if it was fractured turf toe.
Yeah, they didn't release what it is as of right now. So who knows? At this point, my assumption is it's like broken toes or something in his foot. Maybe he broke his foot or something. I don't know. It looked like it happened like the way he planted his foot whenever he was going after Dak that one time.
It was.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I'm sure all of you know they could have opened the 21-day practice window for CJ today, but they didn't. So it's looking like he's probably not going to be off the IR here this week. They may be reserving him here for the playoffs.
Which is
smart. But he was at the facility though. Apparently he's in good spirits. He's been working out at the facility and stuff, so he's in there.
We should be able to beat Seattle without CJ.
Saints.
And then if we, the Saints. My bad, y'all. I am really, really ticked right now. So if I say the wrong name, I apologize, but I am supremely ticked, and I'm holding myself together because we have to do a show. But I'm really upset with what happened on Sunday. And we'll get into the reasons why. But we should be able to beat the Saints without CJ. We're gonna have to rely on Burnt Toast Part 3, Josiah Scott, but it is what it is. I have heard some rumblings about Cravion LeBlanc, who used to be on our team. He's a free agent. He's available now. I think he's somebody we should take a look at. And then Anthony Harris is on our practice squad. He needs to be on the team, getting some reps.
Surprised they haven't elevated him yet.
I think I keep asking about that every week. Like, why is he not elevated yet?
I can understand it might took a couple of weeks to kind of get back into the swing of things or whatever, but at this point, even at 75%, 50%, 55%, he cannot be any worse than Josiah Scott.
No.
Yeah, I would definitely bring Cravion LeBlanc back too. I mean, he hasn't started in any games here recently, but he's been on people's practice squads. He's been staying healthy and staying up to game shape,
Yeah.
Why not? At this point, it's better than Josiah Scott.
Now, what I'm hoping is that, and this is a wild hope, I'm going to hold on to it, because they can activate this 21-day practice window at any point.
By Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they just have it today, but they will activate it for CJ. Doesn't mean he's necessarily going to play, but at least if he can get the practice window open, he can get on the field and get some reps.
Mm-hmm.
We are sorely missing, 8 interceptions that he brought or so before he got injured.
You can tell.
We sorely miss that he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can tell. It's a big difference with him not being.
Giovanni, thanks for tuning in and checking us out, man. And definitely stick with us. Hit that subscribe and like button, man. We're going to do a lot of talking about the Eagles tonight. A whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
As far as other injuries go,
yeah, I was going to get into that.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to steal.
Yeah, I mean, they have the injury report today. I mean, it was just a walkthrough today. So, I mean, it's just kind of what they expected if they actually had a regular practice, if people were actually out there. Jalen Hurts did not participate once again. I mean, Sirianni said in his press conference that they're still leaving the possibility open that he will play. it's not looking like it. It's looking like they may be going with Gardner Minshew again. I'm not sure what Jalen looks like. They haven't really released any information. Sirianni and everybody's they like keeping the injuries low key. They like to keep everything under wraps. But man, I would say if you needed Jalen at any point, you need him this weekend. I would feel better. I don't want to see Gardner Minshew going out there and then we have to go out here and play against the Giants for the conference. I don't know. But then surprise, surprise, Miles Sanders did not participate with a knee injury coming out of nowhere. So what's he looking like as of right now? Like he may not be active for the game. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on at this point. And I mean, you got AJ Brown, limited participant with a knee. And then you had Jordan Davis. He's going through concussion protocol as of right now. And of course, Avonte and Lane Johnson are out. But I mean, it's not looking good for these birds. The worst possible time of the season, right before,
The worst
trying to
of
clinch
all
this
these
conference and division up.
injuries
And then we
was
dealing
with
with all
Jordan
this.
Davis. Jordan Davis got taken out by friendly fire.
Mm-hmm. Straight up.
That's the one that kills me.
Yeah, and they tried to take AJ Nees up out of there too.
They
did.
They did.
They straight up. I was worried about him for a minute.
Me too.
They're saying that there's a chance that Jalen Hurts can play, but I doubt that. Eric, what's going on, man? Thanks for hopping in as well, joining us.
Eric, you gave him 3. I'm surprised.
It's fair to give him a little bit of something, Eric. That's fair. I feel like that's more reasonable, right? I think a lot of people might say, and I agree with Wyatt when he says this is the worst time, but there's one time that's worse than this to have a lot of injuries, and that's when we get into the playoffs. The good thing is a lot of these guys, if we can get this number 1 seed this week, we don't have to worry about them for 2 weeks after this week until it's time, for us to play, because we're going to have our week 18 game, and then we're going to have a bye. We can lock everything up this week. So we have 2 more weeks that everybody can rest, and we don't have to worry about them getting on the field. They can get treatment. We can figure out how we can get them in the game, how long they may be able to play. So we'll have a lot of things that we can play with if we can go ahead and lock up this first round bye. I think it's more imperative than ever to get that just because of what's happening with the team. If you guys have any comments, but the only other thing for me is injuries happen. We got to look at the next man up. I will say, we'll get into it in a few minutes, but I have to just say right now, there are a couple of things I blame Gardner Minshew for, but this was definitely a team L.
Absolutely. I mean, the real question is going to be, like, how are they going to handle these injuries in the meantime? Like, if we have to play, I mean, especially against the Saints, and depending on what happens there against the Giants, because it's like, with laying out, do you move Mailata? Do you stay with Stoll? Who's there at the right tackle now? Is it Stoll or?
I think it's Stoll.
Yeah,
I would stay with him.
Yeah, I mean, or you can move Dillard over there. I don't know. We're talking about flip flopping, and then if GJ comes back, do you move him to nickel and then put like Reed Blankenship at safety or something? Like, I don't know what you do. You gotta do something, because Josiah Scott and the other bull and the cornerback is not it. It's not going to do it. Kevon Wallace, that's his name.
Garbage.
Amen.
Eric Bentley.
Exactly. You got to have Jonathan Gannon doing the right thing too. He could have easily moved Slay or Bradbury to cover CeeDee Lamb that whole damn game, and he didn't.
Right.
Eric, I'm just going to say me and you are sharing the same mind right now. Just going to say that. And I'm going to leave that at that. You know what? I can't even think about anything else. So let's go ahead and make this happen. I know why it should be back in a couple of minutes, but we got other things to talk about.
You look like you're going to burst, man.
Yeah, we have got to review this game. We have got to take it there. So I'm not going to start, because if I start, I don't know if I'm going to stop. So, Swoop, what do you have? Let's let you start.
Okay. Now you scared me because you don't want to start because you're so upset. Not happy we lost to Dallas, obviously, like no one else would be. I was surprisingly impressed with Minshew. And maybe that's because I've been so, in my head, dependent on Jalen Hurts all season and not thinking about the backup quarterback. Maybe that's why I was surprised at that. I mean, we played the Cowgirls with a backup quarterback, and just talking about Minshew alone, I just thought he did so well. He threw where I thought he would. There was a couple things to correct, but I don't think that he was the problem or the reason why we lost. I mean, he was just incredibly good in that game. I saw that just that 3rd and 30, I thought was the tipping point when we didn't stop that. And Gannon just, for whatever reason, when Maddox left, just couldn't make the adjustment. And I don't understand why. This part in the season, I would say with that game and 2 more weeks to go, shouldn't Gannon be used to making the adjustments quick on the spot when someone goes out hurt and be able to put the defense in the right position and have them looking in the right spot where that 3rd and 30 should have never happened? We were going back and forth with Dallas, and then the last 2 minutes and 19 seconds, it was 2 field goals and we lost. And I had a hard time with that. We had a lot of good players. Sweaty was a great player to AJ Brown, Smitty. I mean, it was just, they had really good going on. And I have a personal favorite moment. It wasn't a scoring moment, but I have to share this. When Sweaty sacked Prescott and Fletcher Cox kind of tripped and fell on top of him full weight. I just thought that was a pretty funny part in the game. But for the most part, I'm not happy that they lost, but I am impressed on a lot of the way the players did, especially Minshew. And going into the next game, I don't see a whole lot being corrected, but that's a whole other segment. So with that, I'm going to let someone else go.
Eagles Diva, what you got for us?
It's just, I don't know. It's hard to wrap your head around what really actually happened. I want to remind people that the Eagles have beat themselves, and every game that they have lost is because they have beat themselves. You have to hold on to the ball. I don't know why all of a sudden we are fumbling the ball, especially with Miles. I'm just not understanding why a lot of the plays he still had Gardner Minshew throwing the ball when there still should have been more running. I think Booby should have been out there a lot earlier because a lot of plays we had Gainwell and he made some plays, but it's certain calls that Miles can take off and run and get extra yardage and get first downs. And so everybody was like, well, where's Booby? Like, why are we not running with him? So I didn't understand that. And then I didn't understand with the defense why we couldn't shut down the passing game. Once Avonte Maddox was out, there was no more rushing the passer at all. So it's no way, in my opinion, that Dak should have been able to get the yards that he got. CB Lamb, and I said, you have to watch CB Lamb, you have to watch Gallup. And what happened? CB Lamb tore us up downfield. Tore us up. Torched us. That looked like we just didn't know how to cover. Wasn't nobody coming over to help. Wasn't nobody making transition. And I'm like, what are y'all looking at? What are you looking at? So we beat ourselves on all levels in that game. It was not because Dak was on fire like everybody tried to make it seem. They was sucking their, you know what. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't because of that. It was because we beat ourselves and we didn't hold on to the ball. There's no way that – think about if we would have kept the ball with the last 2 minutes when Miles fumbled that ball. We were working our way down the field. We would have scored. That would have been a touchdown, and it would have been game over. But what happens when you don't take care of the ball? Turnovers turn into points, and that's what happened, and that's how we lost.
What do you got, Wyatt?
I don't know where to start, man. Like I told myself I wasn't going to be pissed if we lost this game because we have other chances to win the division and conference, but it's just the way that we lost. You know, like we've already said, we beat ourselves, and it's just the way we went out. We were up by 10 points twice in this game. This was our game to win, and they did everything they could to lose it. I mean, just like Diva was saying, where was Miles Sanders? Where was Miles Sanders this whole time? Well, just like last week. Why aren't you using him to run the ball more? Like, and you wonder why when you do give him the ball, he's fumbling. You don't have him there's no consistency here. Like, you have to give him some reps to get going. but they just were not doing that. They were forcing Gardner Minshew to throw for some reason. Like, why wouldn't you lean on the run with a backup quarterback? He was making decent throws when he needed to. I'm not sold on Gardner Minshew. I think he's a decent backup, but I mean, he played scared for a majority of this game. That one time when they were in red zone, you hiked the ball and threw it straight into the out of bounds 3 times in a row, the same play every single time. I just don't understand it. He missed Quez for an open touchdown. Luckily, we were able to score that drive. But a lot of these throws he makes, there's no power behind them. They're staying in the air way too long, giving these defenders a lot more time to get to the receiver. They're going to Quez way too often on these these third downs and these plays that you need to happen. They're going to Quez on when you should be going to Dallas Goedert, who was way underutilized in this game. You could have leaned on him heavy and you would have been fine this whole game. But I mean, AJ and Devontae went out and did their things like we expected. But I mean, the defense was a joke, man. Like, you saw they're struggling. Why wouldn't you play man and have like Slay covering CD or James Bradbury doing this? Like, you have to adjust at some point. And then on top of that, you have Kazir White. He had a really bad game. He's missing tackles out here. The only real good spot of the defense, I would say, is we were able to kind of shut them down in the red zone a couple times when they were there. And they were stopping the run for a majority of the game. But there really wasn't too much to be positive about coming out of this, other than, the offense can click, even with a backup quarterback. The offense can get points, but it's not as consistent as we would like, especially with some of the turnovers.
So I did something that I very rarely do. I watched this game 3 times. I went back and watched it 3 more times. And the reason that I had to do that was because I had to make sure that I saw what I thought I saw. And unfortunately, I saw what I thought I saw. So a couple of things. My initial thought was, Miles Sanders, you fumbled the ball. What's going on? Go back and watch it. The fumble was on Gardner Minshew. That wasn't on Miles Sanders. Gardner did not put the ball in where he could clamp and go as he should have. It's an unfortunate side effect when you have a backup quarterback who, like Wyatt just said, choked in certain situations in that game. And that was one of the times that he choked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Giovanni, real quick, I know you said Kirk Cousins is better than him, but according to Amari Cooper, Dak is the black Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is the white Dak Prescott. So they're pretty much the same guy.
But they choke anyway. Okay.
And they both choke. So that's why, I think it's apropos.
Bro, it tore me up the last play of the game. Like, it's 4th down and you're going to throw it away.
That tore me up. But
throw the damn ball at a receiver. Like, this is the game.
Though, man. Like,
Devontae was open past the first down. Like,
but still, players got outmanned, though. You don't let the boy just take the ball from you, though.
Yeah.
If you're Gardner Minshew, you're in a clutch situation. You have Dallas Goedert. You have A.J. Brown. You have Fonte Smith. You have Quez Watkins. Who in the HELL hockey sticks should you not throw the ball to?
That should have went to Dallas.
It should have went to anyone but Quez.
Anyone.
The last game we lost, he caught the ball, fell down, got up and fumbled. So why are we giving the guy who should not have the ball in the clutch? Why isn't Gardner Minshew, who's supposed to be one of the better backups in the league, and the guy's out there looking for a job as a number 1 QB somewhere next year, why are you not reading the entire field? All last year got on Jalen Hurts when he did not read the field completely, when he looked at 1 or 2 reads and then made a decision. That's what Gardner Minshew did the entirety of the game. It took me 3 times to see that completely and confirm it. Also, I don't know when Miles Sanders hurt his knee, but I believe it had to be early in the game, because why did we get that much of Kenneth Gainwell?
Yeah.
Where is Trey Sermon? Where's the bowling ball with feet? Why is
Probably
he
gonna
not
get
playing?
him now.
Why is he not playing? The other thing I want to understand, what in the world was the play calling? Why are we attempting to do RPO with Gardner Minshew?
Thank you.
That's what I was going to say too. You literally tried to do a plug and play with a whole different QB that can't play like Jalen. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why is he running?
And that one play where he ran, I was like, dang, like he's not even making progress, y'all. Like
He's running in place. He's like in sand.
Yes.
Like, bro, you're not going anywhere.
Nowhere. I was like, Lord, where's Jalen? Yeah.
He was
Quicksand.
seeing ghosts and he wasn't even being sacked. I don't
Quicksand.
understand it.
And then the fact that he kept staring down his receivers, man. That's why the first interception happened, because he was staring right at either Quez or AJ. Like, why are you staring them? You don't stare your receivers down, man. You look the other way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was just because it's an actual game situation. He hasn't played in a game situation in a while, or if it's just
I think he was just
bad play. I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, but I mean, the playmakers were doing their job once they got the ball. It was just everything leading up to that, man. It's disappointing.
But that was supposed to be like
they were cooking digs.
Literally had that game and just
let it slip through your hands.
And
I thought we were getting it too. I was like, he gonna score in this last drive. Like, we gonna go down here and win this game.
And the thing is, the thing that sucks the most is CeeDee Lamb plays in the slot. That's where he played almost every snap in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was what's exposed when who went down injured. That was the position where we were missing our starter.
And they had no way to fix that, or no way to even cover that up, put a Band-Aid on it at all. They didn't even try.
The best they came up with was Jonathan Gannon, a couple of plays at the beginning of the third quarter, did a double team on CeeDee Lamb out of the slot. A couple of plays. Then we went back to soft zone. The problem is, and I want to say this, forget this, man. Dallas fans, this is what I got to say. And this is for the ones of you that are running around bragging like you won the Super Bowl because you beat Gardner Minshew and our defense.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
And before we go any further, there's another problem that I have. Now, I watched Nick Sirianni's press conference, as I know why it did, because he brought up something that you would only know if you watched that press conference. Nick Sirianni, and Wyatt, you may be able to quote this better, but Nick Sirianni was basically saying he supports Jonathan Gannon and he thinks Jonathan Gannon is doing a great job. So, Nick Sirianni, the fact that you said this needs to be said to you.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Straight up. That's how I was watching. I was like,
yeah.
What?
Did you say what again, Nick? Like,
what? Did you watch the same
So,
game, Nick?
Losing
Giovanni
games defense.
And Philly have asked if we're playing Hurts.
No.
As of now, the expectation is I think we're going to play Minshew.
Yeah.
Because it's a game Minshew should be able to win and get Hurts extra rest. And then that'll allow him also to not need to throw or play next week. So I don't think we're going to see Jalen Hurts if we win this game, which we should on Sunday until the playoffs.
Yeah. Keep an eye on the injury report tomorrow. If he's another did not participate, he's not going to play.
Yeah, if he doesn't play tomorrow, agree. He's definitely not going to play.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't know, man. If we lose, do you bring him back against the Giants? Because that's a must-win game.
You have to. You don't got no choice.
Yeah, you have to bring him back against the Giants if we lose this game. But the hope is to go out and win this game. I think this is the smart play if he's not ready.
Yeah, I agree.
And guys, I have to say this one more time. And someone else says it better for me. I have a couple more points to make, but this is
who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach. Every time it gets me, bro. It's so funny. It's just that one dude, you had the courage to say that, to break the tension. But, man, if Jalen played in this game, it's over. Like, it's over at halftime pretty much.
It would have been over.
It's up 21-3 at that point, bro. We rolling.
rolling.
The
Like,
thing that burns me the
sucks.
most is just the simple fact that I know that we didn't go out and play our best football.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand we had our backup quarterback and blah, blah, blah. People can say all the time, but we did enough for us to win that game. If you told me before the game that Minshew would give us 34 points and we would have the ball last, I'd have said, oh, this is a win, automatic. Like, I would have been confident. But unfortunately, that's not what happened, and that was the scenario. So, Shane Steichen, you have a lot of blame to play in this situation because you're the OC. Nick Sirianni, if you are deluded enough to believe that Jonathan Gannon is doing everything he should and you have confidence in him as a defensive coordinator, I'm concerned.
Well, didn't he say that about Jim Schwartz? They both seem like they're the same.
Well, you know, he wasn't there with Schwartz. I would rather have Schwartz, and I'll tell you why. And I think Wyatt, this may be what Wyatt was thinking too. Schwartz is a player's coach. Schwartz is going to get them boys hype. Schwartz will be about to have a stroke over there. He's jumping around and wilding out so bad when the defense is playing well or bad. And Schwartz will make you want to play. Schwartz will have them boys out there. Scott and them boys is out there thinking they would either play better or be cut. Mm-hmm. Schwartz don't play that. And that's that old school. He's an older coach. He's been around a little bit. He's been a head coach as well. He's not going to play that.
Yeah. I'll get rid of Gannon after this season. Hopefully he gets a head coaching job or somewhere ruin somewhere else. But man, we need to get someone confident up in here.
Y'all can have Steichen too if you want. Anybody wants Steichen, come get him too. But you know, it's just got to be better overall.
Yeah, better play overall. I mean, we beating ourselves.
Well, thank you, Erica Wilson. Appreciate you hopping in and watching us as well. This was a game that we should have won. This was a game that we didn't win. I'm going to say something that I don't normally say. All props to Dallas, because what Dallas did was, as we kept making mistakes, they kept capitalizing on them. They got a lot of points off turnovers. We only got 7 points off the Dak turnover. We allowed them to grab the momentum back. We allowed them to do what they did. So I'm not going to use the excuse of a backup because I felt like he played good enough to win the game. Defense should have been better. Plays should have been called that were more for what he does and less for what, Jalen Hurts does. Mm-hmm. This game should have been more like a traditional quarterback back there, right? Fake the handoff, make the quick throws, run the ball heavy with all three running backs that you had active, use the tight ends when you get in dire situations and make the good throws down the field. He seemed to focus on Devontae Smith obviously first, and then A.J. Brown had a big play, and then he got some other catches as well. But he didn't spread the ball around the way that Hurts does. He doesn't have the command of the offense that Hurts does. He doesn't have the trust of the guys to just sell out on the play like Hurts does. He doesn't have the accuracy that Jalen Hurts does. He's a guy that's won games in the league and probably will be a starting quarterback somewhere, next year. But at the end of the day, you had a golden opportunity here, and you did not capitalize completely on that opportunity. So that's my issue with Gardner Minshew. Yeah. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, I have zero issues with you. Zero.
Yeah. Other than Goddard should have been utilized more.
Yeah,
but if they had him on a snap count, you should have been using Stoll or Calcaterra more.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with. I'll say the tight end group and those two wide receivers.
Yeah,
I'll even go that far. The line, I honestly don't have a problem with. Yeah, the line, I don't have a problem with. There are some pieces I have a problem with. We'll get into those when we talk players and pariahs of the game. I just want to end by saying I'm not going to sit here and just say, oh, the Philadelphia Eagles are in trouble. We're not in trouble. Michael Parsons, to answer your question, it's Jalen Hurts with the team. Because without him, we could not get it done. So your question should be answered now, sir.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard on social media in different places, especially Colin Doodoo Face Cowherd.
Yeah.
at
Chris Sims.
and Chris Sims, you probably got 15
Clown.
concussions in like 3 seasons in the league. That's how good you were. But you probably have more concussions than everybody but David Carr in a 5-year span. But that digresses. Guys talking about, oh, you can't win without Lane Johnson. There's no way the Eagles can win. We won a Super Bowl with most of our linemen injured. So I want you to understand, we do believe in next man up, and Jeff Stoutland is an amazing.
That's what I was going to say. You got Jeff Stoutland.
Played, yeah, caller as
I'm more
well.
worried about that secondary than Lane Johnson missing.
Right.
Now, we should have enough to beat the Saints. We're going to give up some points to the Saints because we do have some holes in the secondary.
Yeah.
We should beat this Saints team, solidify what we need to in the playoffs. Week 18, just put the scout guys out there to go out there and get smacked around by the Giants. Help the Giants go ahead and get in the playoffs because, hey, that's how the schedule worked. And we need to be focusing on 2 weeks of preparation for that first playoff game. So shout out to the Cowboys. I will give you credit where credit is due. You took advantage of the situations. We gave you opportunities, and you took advantage of them, and you won the game.
Mm-hmm.
You will not hear the excuse from me about backup quarterbacks because I'm better than you. You know it. You use that excuse. I will not.
Yeah.
Facts.
Disappointing. It was like watching the Washington game all over again.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Ugh. Horrible.
It was. Any final thoughts, you guys, on it?
Yeah,
No.
well, hopefully they use this and turn it around and go and just stomp on the Saints this weekend. Hopefully that lit a fire underneath them.
I just hope we get all these problems that we've been seeing throughout the year together
Yeah.
for playoffs. Like, that is my only thing.
Just get this dub this weekend, please. Please, that would get healthy.
And please just watch film for the next 2 weeks and figure out where you're going wrong. Like, I mean, be on it every day.
Get another consultant or two over there to talk with Jonathan Gannon.
Yes.
All right, so we'll move on to the player Pariah of the game. We'll start with you, Eagles Diva.
Number 6 all day. Devontae Smith, that's my boy. You would be hating on Schmitty. Schmitty, that's my boy. And Pariah of the game is gonna be Quez. Snaking ass. Anyway,
Fair
sorry.
enough.
Wyatt, who you got?
Pariah of the game, I'm gonna go with Josiah Scott. Got to. Player of the game, I'll go with Josh Sweat. I'll go with Sweaty over there. He been doing his thing over that whole defensive line. Been doing it. I mean, we got 3 players over 10 sacks now. It's crazy. But Josh Sweat.
Yes.
Philly says, please run the ball.
Yes.
And Philly, that ties into my Pariah of the game. Shane freaking Steichen and the trash dude on the other side of the ball, the other coordinator, Jonathan Gannon. They're co-pariahs of this game.
Terrible.
My player of the game, I'm going to go with Swole Batman, Mr. A.J. Brown himself, because he's A.J. Brown.
Right.
All right, and we purposely had Miss J Swoop going last because she's going to give us her player and Pariah, and then 7 honorable mentions. On you, Miss Swoop.
Now you make me want to just cut it short because she said that. But you guys all said things that I originally picked Smitty for my player of the week because, like Wyatt said, he broke 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. I especially like that. Now I have to think. The pass from Minshew when he had 2 cowgirls on him, 3rd or 4th quarter, pulled it down, got knocked down, and still held onto the ball like it was his baby. So Smitty is mine. Player of the week. Pariah of the week's got to be Gannon. And I know he's not a player, but I'm still throwing him under the bus because he fits nicely. I don't care. And I had a I had a request from Alyssa, who is a viewer every week. I asked her who she thought was, and she said Sweaty. So I'm going to put in her Sweaty for player of the week. And of course, AJ Brown, Minshew. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Cool. I did have a whole bunch, but
You have some more. Go ahead and say them.
no, actually I don't. Actually, that was the end of it. So
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have a lot more next week now that I know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a
Yeah.
Oh,
better.
yeah. I'm big list.
Yeah,
Yep.
too many to pick from this game.
True.
Let's just hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we'll do our one if the season ended today topic. All right, here. So we have got quite a few teams that can do some clinching this week. I'm sure Wyatt has that information, but I'll go through the teams and then we'll talk about those who have clinched and those who have the ability to clinch this weekend and what they'll need to do. And we'll make this kind of fast. We'll say the time for the Eagles, but it's important to know what's going on in the playoffs, right? I mean, it's not just us. We're going to play somebody from the AFC if we actually win, like we should do. So yeah, playoff picture coming up. Do I need to refresh? Well, we can start at NFC because we know that. So in the NFC, of course, clinched the playoff spot, but haven't clinched the number one overall seed or the NFC East yet. We have the best team in football, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagle, fly.
Against the 6-9 Saints. And don't forget, when we're talking about the Saints, we own their first round pick. Extra motivation to go win this game.
Right. Next year,
Yeah.
first round pick.
In second, clinching their division and a playoff spot at 12-3, the Minnesota Vikings. They play the Green Bay Packers, who also are still alive for the playoffs, in a battle of NFC North teams. The San Francisco 49ers are 11-4. They've clinched their division and a playoff spot. Right now, they're third. They could still, depending on what happens with Minnesota the last 2 weeks, possibly get this number 2 seed.
Yeah.
Also, having clinched is the Arlington football team at 11-4. They play the Tennessee Titans this week. We'll see what happens with that because they are starting their rookie quarterback. So, they need to win, but you know how that goes.
It could be without Derrick Henry, too.
Yep. And then the Raiders play the 49ers.
Vipers.
Yeah, they just benched Carr.
Yeah, so that's going to be ugly. So in the hunt still, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 7-8. They're first in the NFC South now, but they still haven't clinched the division because along with their 6-9 record. Hold on.
Yeah, the Panthers.
They're 7-8. The Panthers are 6-9. They did get a win yesterday.
And
but
they
they're
play
really out
the
of time.
Panthers this weekend.
Yep, and they play the Panthers this weekend, so a very important game because this could get the Panthers to 8-8. Depending how a lot of those little idiosyncrasies, who did best against the common opponent that they played, that the Panthers beat by 7 points and the Buccaneers beat by 12 points and all that foolishness, but they at least have a chance if they win this game still.
Yeah.
And then you have who we should be eliminating, the New Orleans Saints, from that divisional race and the playoffs this weekend. All right. And then when we go to the teams who actually have a chance to get a wild card, which no team from the South, I don't believe, really has a chance for that. We have on the bubble the Seattle Seahawks at 7-8. We have the Detroit Lions at 7-8 as well. We have the Packers now at 7-8, so they kind of slid themselves up there. All right, and then in the playoff spots, we have 8-6-1 the Giants, 7-7-1 the Commanders. The Giants play the Colts, the Commanders play the Browns, so both of them should win their games. Seattle plays the Jets. The Jets are a hard team to beat. The Lions play the Bears. They should beat the Bears. The Packers play the Vikings. That's a very important game for this week. That is a game that is interesting. That is a game that has a lot of different scenarios that could happen due to it. And by the way, the Falcons, Rams, and Browns have also been eliminated from playoff contention now. So now we have 8 teams that are out of the playoffs, joining the Texans, Bears, Cardinals, Broncos, and Colts. So those are your teams that have no chance to make the playoffs.
Trash.
Garbage.
So, any thoughts on the NFC before we move on to the AFC, ladies and gentlemen?
NFC
I-
besides the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only real spots, I mean, other than like the wild card, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that, like the Buccaneers, like that division. Are they going? I could see the Panthers just kind of come in and swooping it from them, and Tom Brady not gonna make the playoffs.
No,
They'd have to beat them. They have to beat them this week to have a chance. But yeah, it's possible.
I don't
exactly.
see why they can't. Tom is just. I ain't never seen Tom throw that many interceptions in my life, y'all.
Dude, that whole team.
Nah, he's a
bad.
robot.
I don't know what it is.
That whole. Maybe it's Todd Bowles because Todd Bowles.
Might be.
Todd Bowles, y'all.
Could be. They should have kept Bruce Arians in there.
I mean, because he was at the Jets. What did he do with the Jets? Like, I don't know about Todd.
I don't think it's Todd Bowles. I think it's the fact that Tom Brady's got divorced. He's just having a down year. They have a lot of damage on the offensive line. Godwin's never been 100% for him this year. They don't have the same production with tight end without Gronkowski.
Looking like he'll be gone next year, though.
Yeah, and then a lot of injuries on defense as well. So I just think, you get that year where a team is just not as good anymore. You kind of patched it with veterans that were willing to take less money to attempt to win championships for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably at the top of your cap. You're gonna have to blow it up. That's what happens. You got your win out of it, but you're probably gonna have to blow it up when Brady leaves anyway.
True.
Yeah, but when we go to the AFC, the number 1 seed, we have the Buffalo Bills. And if I remember correctly, they win this week and they clinch the number 1 seed. They're 12-3. They're first in the AFC East. Also at 12-3 is the Kansas City Chiefs, who want to win this game, and they also would love a loss by the Buffalo Bills to get themselves into that number 1 seed. They play the Denver Broncos. The Bills play the Cincinnati Bengals, so a much more difficult game.
Mm-hmm.
And those are 4-minute Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bills, Chiefs, and the Bengals have the Bills and Chiefs have both clinched their divisions. The Bengals still, hanging around their AFC North, but they haven't clinched the division yet. But they have clinched the playoffs. They're 11-4.
So Ravens are 10-5.
Yep. Ravens coming up next, like you said, 10-5. They're second in the AFC North. They've also clinched the playoff spot. And lo and behold, I've talked about this team for weeks.
Chargers.
The Los Angeles Chargers. 9-6. They clinched the playoff berth. Watch that Justin Herbert for MVP talk start to come. I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. And they play the Rams this week. The Ravens play the Steelers. And we talked about the Cincinnati Bengals play the Bills. All right, still in the hunt. The Jacksonville Jaguars, y'all, are first in the AFC South right now.
Oh, Dougie P gonna take them to the playoffs.
But they're only 1 game. Well, they're not even a game. They have the same record as the Tennessee Titans. So one of those teams is going to get in as the wild card.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but the Titans are the only one that matters because they're in their division.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only team that can knock them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, Tennessee's banged up.
Yeah, Tennessee's banged up. The Jacksonville Jaguars play the Texans, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
They're going to go out and get
Tennessee has Arlington, who's already had their Super Bowl, so we'll see what they do next week.
Well, the Texans did win, this week.
Yeah, they have 2 wins now. The Miami Dolphins, they are right now in the 7th seed, second in the AFC East.
Struggling, and I think Tua is on.
Still there, though.
Tua's out.
Tua's probably going to be out this weekend. They play the Patriots. I think for all intents and purposes, the winner of that game gets in. The loser, not so much.
They do got Teddy Bridgewater though. He ain't too bad. He did win a game for him. He ain't too bad.
We'll see.
And we have the Jets, also at 7-8.
Oof.
And the Steelers also at 7-8. And then we have the Raiders actually still at 6-9 and 1 game out. So the thing is, there's a lot of teams that are sitting right there at 7-8. Obviously, the Titans and the Jaguars are fighting for the division. One of them are going to get in. So they're going to have 1 spot, and everybody else is fighting for the other spot. Essentially what we have left in the AFC. So any thoughts on that? Any clinching scenarios that you have for us?
Not so much about the clinching scenarios, but something that maybe we should probably look into going forward. the Ravens doing it right, man. They have their backup QB fits their exact system. They can plug and play him. Whereas I wish we had someone similar to Jalen Hurts as our backup. That way we could do something like they're doing. But you can't just go out and draft a dude like that. You're gonna create another QB controversy. You're gonna have to scoop someone off the practice squad or free agency or something. That I feel like that's something we're gonna have to go for. Like if we sign Jalen going forward as a franchise QB, you're gonna have to get a backup that plays somewhat similar to him going forward. Because I mean, say if something like this happens, that way you can throw him in here and have that similar play style. You don't have to give up too much and change your whole system around just to, suit this QB.
Right.
That was something I thought of when we were talking about the Ravens there.
Why it's still a little mad.
I mean,
was
dude
gonna
is
say
tearing it
something,
up for
but-
him. He's been coming every time he has to come in for the Ravens. He's been playing well, and I mean, he plays very similar to Lamar.
Yeah. Actual.
I'll just say on that, to comment on that, my only thought would be, well, if we basically had a quarterback play, we made him play just like Jalen, even though he's not the same type of player. So yeah. But Wyatt is correct. That's what you're supposed to do. You get a backup that can play similar, but that's not what we did. So, but
No.
again, digression. I
Yeah.
don't want to get into it because I get worked up again. So our final topic, guys. The New Orleans Saints game preview. Swoop, we'll start with you. We'll go then to Diva and then Wyatt. I'm just going to simply say, let's go out there and dominate. And I'm going to let y'all have the last words on this.
Well, with New Orleans, excuse me, we covered a lot of what the Birds need to fix from the last game against the Arlington Cowgirls. I looked at the stats on paper for the Saints, and if we went just on paper, it'd be a blowout, but that's not how it works. So Andy Dalton, I don't think you know what? It's very hard without knowing if it's Minshew or Hurts and who's coming back, who's injured. And I mean, I see obviously Philly running all over the Saints just by the way they played this year. Even if Minshew is in and Hurts is out, just by the way that he played against the Cowgirls, playing the Saints, fixing those little bit of adjustments should be very easy for them. I'm not saying it's a blowout. I'm not saying it's a million points, but it should just be, even with Minshew, a very easy win. Even if Sanders doesn't come back and all the injuries we have. I mean, 16 at week 16 with Arlington. I mean, I expected to have a lot of injuries this late in the season with any NFL team. I'm not happy that a lot of it was with the Birds, but that's part of the game. The coaches, they have to make the adjustments when things like that happen. They have to expect it. Run different plays. Play callers. Whatever happened before, fix it with the play callers going into the Saints game. And I don't see it ending any other way with Minshew, Hurts, or anybody else, with whoever we have out now injured. It's just going to be Philly on top, clinching that number 1 seed, home field advantage. And I just see it that way, whether it's Minshew or Hurts or whoever we have as quarterback. That's all I got.
I'm going to just say this from here on out. I'm just worried about us beating ourselves. I'm not worried about another team beating the Eagles. I'm worried about the Eagles beating the Eagles. We've seen, especially on defense, we've seen a lot of these holes in the soft zone. So I'm not sure why Gannon or even the people that are giving him outside advice is not showing him how to fix those problems and how that we can come together and shut down both the passing and the run at one time all together. But I'm going to need him to get that together, especially before the playoffs, because we're going to start playing AFC teams. Eventually, we're going to have to play an AFC team that's going to be good. So we have to dominate on both sides of the ball. We got to do a lot. We have to do better about taking care of the football. I don't care who's the quarterback. You still got to take care of the football regardless. That's been our problem. We haven't been able to take care of the football, and so teams have been able to capitalize. But other than that, I mean, we should go out there and get this W and lock up this first round bye week. I don't see why we couldn't. If we don't, like I said, it's because we beat ourselves. So let's go Eagles. Don't beat yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything you guys said. I mean, just keep it simple. Don't go out here and try to overthink it and get fancy. I mean, even if Miles Sanders isn't in, if you elevate Trey Sermon, either with Trey Sermon, Boston Scott, or Kenny Gainwell, run the ball. Run the ball, rely on running the ball. You can do it against the Saints team. And then you can rely on the pass game if you have to. That'll open up the pass game. Don't just go out pass heavy and leave it that way through a majority of the game. You can't sustain success like that. This defensive line should be eaten this game on Andy Dalton. He's not very mobile. So, I mean, and that O-line isn't very great for him. So the defense should have a bunch of sacks in this game, hopefully. And hopefully them creating pressure will help that secondary a little bit, depending on what they do. If there's any adjustments in the secondary, I don't know. You need to have Slay and Bradbury on the top two receivers that are out there. That's all I know. But you need to have someone else in for Josiah Scott as well. But just try to, take care of the ball. No fumbles. Hopefully they're doing some extra drills this week to prevent that. And go out here and get another dub and clinch the division in the conference here and rest up. Hopefully we don't have to rely on playing the Giants next week.
Hi, Blue City Empire Sports. Appreciate you tuning in.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, we've said everything we could possibly say. Very disappointing week, but you have those throughout the season. We've had a lot of games that we could have lost that we were able to win. So I'm just happy for that. I'm happy that we have an opportunity to do exactly what we did the year that we reached the mountaintop, the promised land, the land of milk and honey, so to speak. So all I want, man, is to go out and play. We lost to the Arlington football team the second game we played them in that blessed year of 2017 as well. So a lot of talk by a lot of teams in the division, a lot of snappiness about, you guys only got one Super Bowl. Don't forget those NFC championships that you like to try to forget about. But at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, I seen that fan.
Yeah, we saw that fan.
Trash fans with every fan base, though. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, we saw
They're
that.
not part of us. Just
that don't have anything to do with us.
No,
Nope.
I'm not celebrating anybody passing away over a football game. Yeah, that's not.
the series.
No.
I've lost both my parents, as well as my grandmother, so I would not celebrate that happening to anyone. And I think that's a classless act, and that individuals should be ashamed of themselves for being so disrespectful and just hard as a person. I'm gonna say that that goes beyond football. This is a sport, and Philly, we will see you next week.
Absolutely.
But it just goes beyond sport. It's sport. We love it. We want teams to lose. We want teams to win. We want to be the best. But nah.
We're definitely disgusted. Trust me. Eagles fan base is going all over, and people.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't do anything. It's not like we can go out there and do anything about it.
Yeah, he's been getting rolled on by Eagles fans everywhere. He's getting chided because that's not how we do. So
no, that's not the majority of Eagles fans at all.
Yeah,
that one doesn't represent us as a fan.
Absolutely
exactly.
Not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's very tacky. And I'm ashamed to be that. But I will say a couple of things. One thing I want to say is remember this.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
As you know.
And
we will see them Arlington football boys again.
And New Orleans Saints, there's a couple of things
Can't wait.
There's also one more thing I want to say to y'all. And I want you to take this to heart. Understand this is personal and business.
Oh, yeah. Link's going to be rocking on Sunday.
Yes.
And we got a fax from Blue City Empire Sports. And, it's been a rough week. It's been difficult. But I think that I echo all of my co-hosts here when I answer the question of do we think we're going to win this week, wrap up the division, and wrap up the first overall seed.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
That's how we're gonna be starting the show next week.
Yep.
Absolutely.
hopefully.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And because I'm a little mad this week, Seattle.
Just bring it, bitch!
Thanks, you mean? You must be mad because you keep calling them Seattle.
That was awesome.
That's how mad I am, yeah.
The Saints,
It
y'all.
is the Saints. The Saints. My fault, y'all. I am very upset. I'm very mad. But yeah.
I love this podcast.
So guys.
Oh, well, hold on, y'all. They said that Derek Carr decided to leave the Raiders since he got benched. So he's
Aww.
Peace.
Anyway,
Good
y'all.
luck. Best of luck to you.
So Blue City says he's not trolling as a Giants fan. Helps my son. It's his confidence.
Well, we found out he's got a knee injury, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right though.
Yeah, he really shouldn't play this week. I mean, honestly, he shouldn't play this week.
Well, it seemed like
other guys. He shouldn't play. Sit.
Yeah, I mean, it appeared like they had him on a snap count the past couple weeks anyway. So I mean,
Yeah, I don't think this may be
difference.
I don't think this is much of a new injury. I think it's just maybe something that he was hoping was get better, but maybe progressing. So just sit him. I mean, it's nice to have Miles Sanders, but sit him.
Elevate Sermon.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do it.
Definitely.
So, my co-host, does anyone have any final thoughts before we end our wonderful episode for the evening?
Just one for me playing the Saints. As Diva says, run the dang ball. That's it. That's all I got for the Saints game.
Get that dub. I want to be celebrating a conference win. A number 1 seed in the conference. I won't be celebrating that going in the week, not having to worry about a wild card weekend or anything like that. I want to see all these other teams go out and fight for that playoff spot.
One last thing for me. A lot of talk about the Eagles and what the Eagles are going to be able to do in the playoffs. We get in there, you better be ready.
The kid, you dig that sucker!
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will bid you adieu. A second Fly Eagles Fly.
Fly Eagles Fly.
Fly Eagles Fly.
Fly Eagles
Fly.
Elite.
Next.
Subscribe and share.
Hit like and subscribe.
We will hashtag be elite, and we will be back next week.
The kick is away, and the kick it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.